Good morning, Ron Graham, Net Worth Nation. Wanted to talk to you guys today about the top 5 reasons why many insurance brokers fail. The top 5 reasons why many insurance brokers fail. Let's start with number 5. The false narrative. The false narrative around what it takes to get into the insurance business is really where I think the beginning to the end is sort of done, right? For example, if you don't start out on the right foot, understanding what it really takes, right? So many of you could have been like myself, where I went to YouTube University to technically kind of see what was going on out there. And unfortunately, some of the people that were leading the headlines on YouTube were these brokerage houses, or IMOs as they call them, which is an insurance marketing organization. And what they did was they would promote all of the glory and the glitter and the glamour that surrounded getting into the insurance business. They promoted all of the income that you can make and the money that's there to be made. They also kind of set the tonality that you didn't really need a lot of startup, right? This is one of the most inexpensive businesses to start up. Now, here's the question. What is the average amount of startup for an average business, right? So, of course, you would have to have those numbers in your head to even understand what they're talking about. There's several different types of startups. And so because they know that the average person, fumbling around on YouTube is just trying to get some basic information, they really did a good job of kind of like masquerading those realities. So that's the first step. Getting off to the wrong start in this business is absolutely a big reason why a lot of brokers fail. You have to have the right concept of the type of income that you're going to need from A to Z, right? Which brings me to my second point. They say once you get your license, that's the hardest part. Now, make no mistake, the hardest part with any business is getting started. Getting started is the hardest part with any business. So let's just keep it 100%. I agree. Getting started is a big thing. So yes, getting your license is big because obviously most people that want to do it, you know, they procrastinate, they never get their license, whatever. So yeah, getting your license is a part of it. But that's not it. Now, what do I mean by that? Another misconception is that everything on your license is what it takes for you to be successful in this business. Now, let's be realistic. We all understand that the license is going to cover a broad scope of knowledge. When you are in the insurance place, there's a lot of different places that you can hang your bag. For example, you can get into insurance to primarily do casualty and property. You can get in it to do like auto insurance. You can get in it to do health and life insurance. You can get in it to do disability. You can get in it to do Medicare. You get where I'm going with this? So all of these different hats that you can hang your bag on, or all these different platforms that you can grab your bag on and get into those mastery levels are not really talked about, right? It's just get the broad 215 license, get that, and then you just get your license, and then now all of a sudden you go to all of these different marketing agents that's now what, pulling and pulling on you. It's another thing, which brings me to number 3. As soon as you hit the system in whatever state you qualify in for your license, it's in the registry. And you have these big, what they call insurance marketing companies, these IMOs, FMOs. And what they do is they go after people like you and I before our license is even dry. And what they do is they recruit the heck out of you to get you to come, join my broker, join my broker, join my broker. Because again, just like in the real estate place and space, like Keller Williams and Coldwell Banker and Illustrated Properties, all these corporations, these organizations get paid, with their agents. Their agents go out and broker deals or sell houses and stuff like that. And then, of course, the brokerages that give you the security of hanging your license, they, get their cut. So again, it's this. So that's another thing that catches you off guard. Let's make no mistake. A lot of us are not used to being chased or wooed or seduced or whatever you want to call it. But we got to stop smelling our own smoke here. We got to realize, wait a minute, let's not get carried away. But do you recall a job where you go out and everyone's like, oh, come work for me, work for me? That doesn't happen in most normal jobs. Like the jobs I had to go for, I had to take the test 500 times to get into like places like Amtrak or Verizon and, the city or sanitation, taking tests, police department. So these places don't just be come. So that's another thing. You got to get over that honeymoon stuff. Also, when you get there, that same recruit attitude that they did to get you is what they kind of want you to do. So now there's a big misconception that when you first join these IMOs, you're going to jump right into where you want to be. And what you have to realize is that not all IMOs, our insurance marketing organizations, are created equal. And again, depending on where you want to be, what part of the scope do you want to be in? Do you want to be in retirement? Do you want to be in healthcare? What do you want? And because you're new, if you weren't mentored into the program, notice the key word, mentored into it, meaning prior to getting a license, you probably are somewhere where you're not comfortable or where you're not sure what you want to do. And because you're so new to the industry, you're not really sure where you want to be and where you want to go. And in that unsurety is where a lot of mess is made. Let me say that one more time. In that unsurety is where a lot of mess is made. A lot of money is lost, a lot of energy is lost, a lot of time is lost. And unfortunately, in the recruiting phases, and let's make no mistake, how can I, who just come into an industry, spend my industry trying to grab somebody else and bring them in when I don't even know what in is myself? And that's what you see. I should be focusing on sales. I should be focusing on honing my craft. And that's not what happened, which brings me over to number two. Number two is, well, you don't worry about it, Ron G. While you learning your craft, you turn over your book of business to me. Now, for those of you who don't know what a book of business means, it basically means that your family, your friends, your former coworkers or current coworkers or whatever it is, give them to me and I'll go out there and get them into the business and you just learn what you got to learn. No. Look at me. You guys are on my channel because you know me and I know you and we're talking to each other. And you came to this channel to hear what I have to say, right? And so what happens, and not saying that I can't bring somebody here to uplift you, but the primary reason why you're here is because you want to hear what I have to say, just like I'm listening to what you have to say. So when you bring other people in there to get into that matter, remember, you're supposed to be the insurance professional. You're the professional. I'm coming to you because I trust you. I don't know who this person is. I don't know who that person is. I'm not buying something from somebody I don't know who they are. I know where you are. I know where you live. I know who your family is. I know where you go to service at. I know where you play ball at, you go to school at, and go to the supermarket. I know where you are, right? I don't know who these other people are. And so that's another big misconception. You don't sell like that. Never turn over your book of business to any of these organizations. That's what they want you to do. Because here's the thing. Your word is your bond, not theirs. Your reputation is your reputation, not theirs. You have to see these people. They don't. So be very, very aware of organizations that constantly want you to turn over your book of business, your family, your friends to them so they can do with your people with what they want. Never do that. Which brings me to the number one reason why most insurance brokers fail in this industry. It's because of the lack of sustainability. You see, all the stuff that I named, in most cases, even in mine, it took me 2 to 3 years to weed through a lot of that stuff. And in the process of that, you're not getting the training. You're not focused on the things you need to be focused on. You're not growing as an agent like you should be, because as you're parrying through all of these different organizations, and then they bring you to the number one thing, and they tell you, well, you run out of friends and family, so now you need to purchase what we call leads. Now, if you want to know exactly what a lead is, it's basically someone with an intent to purchase a product that you have in your repertoire. And that lead can come from the internet. It can come from a seminar. It can come from Instagram or anything like that, or any of those social media platforms. And it's basically someone that expressed a solid interest in doing something. And how it may end up on your lap depends. Now, these leads are not free. They can cost as high as 25, 30, 50 bucks. Like, very expensive. And what that means is that if you are an up and coming agent, you probably do not have a lot of liquid capital. You may or may not. And what happens is you're purchasing leads at a rate because you're being pushed to purchase them by a lot of these IMOs. And I'm not going to go into all of the names of them because for the sake of this video, I just want you guys to get what I'm putting down. The point is that when you're purchasing these leads, there's no guarantee of the sales. Why? Because some of these leads were very old, meaning that these were people that were given to other insurance brokers, and for whatever reason, the person never answered the phone or they never got to the person. So they sell those off to you. Now they'll be at a more cheaper rate, affordable rate, $3, $4, $5. Then you'll have leads where someone might have talked to them a month ago. They're not that old, a month, 2, 3 months. Maybe at that time, the person wasn't in a position to go move forward, and now they are. So now that lead will make its way back to you, and then you pay for it. But now that lead, because it's not that old, it may cost you 10, 15 bucks. And then you have the ones that supposedly within the very first week, or could be a couple of days old. Those are the big ones. Those are the ones that cost. And you could pay anywhere upwards to 25, 30, 40, 50 bucks, depending on how instantly those leads are. Now, here's the downside to all of that. There is no guarantee on any lead that anybody is technically going to just say, hey, write me a policy. I want it right now. There's no guarantee for that, which means that you have to have the ability to sustain yourself and to sustain your way of life while you're waiting for these things to materialize. And that, my friends, is probably the number one reason why most people in this industry don't make it, because of what we talked about in all 5 situations. And if you're seeing something in on YouTube, or somebody's psyching you into doing something based on fluff and stuff, and you drop the job or quit the job or whatever you're doing, and you jump headfirst into this without the proper preparation, then you absolutely have the potential to drown out within your first year, 2 years tops. 2 years tops. By 2 years, you're probably on life support. And now your wife or your husband, and they're bitter because they've seen your income dwindle. They've seen you spend a lot of time away from home, a lot of time out there on road or doing whatever, and they don't see the income that matches. And so now you have friction and fractured relationships at home. And so it's just a domino effect, guys. So before you commit to any of these things, these are the top 5 reasons. I can talk to you on another video about how to avoid all that. Once again, Ron G, your consult, the Net Worth Nation. Let's talk soon. Peace out.